it. Every Fallout.
Don't eat the dogs, but you gotta live. Oh, such a shame.
We'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm thinking their big reveal is gonna be that's gonna come out this holiday season. I think this holiday season will be the season to actually make the next gen consoles really matter. To this date, all the discussion about exclusive games or major releases has been moot. PS4 has nothing really. Xbox One doesn't have anything. And PlayStation 4, to be honest, it has been the port station. It's all been HD remasters and PS3 games. Like people joking that like PS4, the best place to play PlayStation, PlayStation 3 games.
Yeah.
This HD remaster thing, like I know there's gonna be tons of HD remaster announcements, and
hopefully one of which will be a Final Fantasy VII.
See, yeah, that
fans have been waiting.
Yeah. Well, it did that already on the PC.
Eh.
I know it's meant to be playing the console. Okay, fair enough. The PC version's not bad though. Okay, we're not gonna get to that.
Hashtag blame Yogi for everyone.
I can hear you cringing over there. It was playable, at least. We'll say that. I think they're also gonna announce Doom 4. I think that they probably want to space that out. They might say Q1, Q2, 2016. I think more realistically, it might be Q3, so they can get it in before the big holiday rush and give it time to really get be noticed.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're even gonna entertain the idea of following up Rage. 'Cause that's another game that I think people dogged on, but there was a lot of quality there.
I don't know.
I mean, people are all excited about Witcher 3, right? And I'm not gonna take anything from that game, and that company's great. They're really responsive. They really love. You can tell they made the Witcher series with great love and attention.
They did something a lot of game companies haven't been doing lately. They put out a game that worked day one.
Yes.
So
that's very true.
That gets credit on its own.
But Rage had that open world. It had mini games so good that you wish they were standalone games. Because everybody, like every time I hear people talking about Witcher 3, they're like, OMG, I love Glint. That card game is so much fun. It needs to be a mobile app. And I felt the same way about the mini games in Rage. So, I mean, that world was amazing. It was huge. It looked beautiful. That game pushed the limits of the Xbox 360. It looked amazing. The frame rate was high. It just looked so sharp. It was a huge open world. It had so many interesting locations. And the guns felt well. They had a lot of variety in weapons. You could zip line. It was just a fun game. It was kind of like Bulletstorm in many ways meets Doom. The only thing they fell flat on was the multiplayer, because they kind of just tacked it on there. That was a great game. I love Rage. I think I don't know. I think people should give it another shot. The worst part about Rage was the ending. All this build up, and then at the end, it was Gears of War Horde mode. That was the boss battle. Like, really? I'm gonna fight a bunch of waves of monsters. That's how you end it. Spoilers. Sorry. Anywho. So Microsoft is on Monday, 9 a.m. PST, 12 p.m. noon Eastern. So it's going to be interesting. Nintendo Direct, I think, is at Tuesday at 9 a.m. Originally, it said 9 p.m. I'm like, that's really late. And I remember, oh, wait. It's they're like 12 hours ahead of us in Japan.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they can mix the time. I'm guessing it's going to be at 9 a.m. our time, but they're going to be streaming it via satellite, so to speak, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Guys, there's so much stuff going on. They're going to have a PC gaming show with Phil Spencer and the gang. It's kind of funny, too, because like Phil Spencer, they asked him a question about something about what Microsoft is doing to attract the PC gamers, and they're kind of trying to bait him to talk about crossplay, and he's like, we're not in the business of trying to convince PC gamers to come to console. That's not a worthwhile battle. And that's a good stance for him. I like him. He's a really snappy guy. He always has good answers. Like they're not like salesy. Like he's just said like whatever, YOLO.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
What if you could pick any 3 games to get more information about coming up at E3? What would you want to hear about?
Gosh, that's really tough. It's really tough. Gears of War, the next Gears of War, the Gears of War 4, and we're gonna pretend that Judgment didn't happen.
Fair enough.
I've heard a lot of bad things from everyone that played that. I'm glad I skipped it. Maybe the next XCOM game, which is apparently is going to be PC and Mac only.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the roots.
And maybe Crackdown 3 or Halo 5 Guardians. Oh, right. Of course. Well, actually, the most important one, Mass Effect 4. Well, I already told you Mass Effect 4 and Fallout 4 are like at the top of my list.
Right. All right. For me, I'm going to go easily Fallout 4.
Yep.
I would like to hear something from Blizzard about Overwatch.
Yeah, can't forget about Blizzard.
And although E3 really doesn't play towards...
Wait a minute. Wait, I thought we were doing console only. I didn't know Blizzard was an option.
Oh, no, we're going... I said any game, buddy.
Okay, so Blizzard, yes, I'm with you there. Overwatch, and then they got to keep the Heroes of the Storm hype going. And even the Hearthstone hype going.
Well, we just got a huge amount of hype on Heroes of the Storm.
And they got to reinforce it.
I suppose. It's hard to top that, though. It was a good show.
I mean, that's the whole thing, though. Like, E3 now is... Like, everybody's kind of preemptively firing off the shots before E3. And then E3 is going to be, like, where they, like, finally, like, do the victory lap or some kind of thing. Maybe drop the mic, you know? What else are you looking forward to? Or wishful for?
I would be wishful if E3. I feel like E3 lacks a real indie presence.
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of the other games I would have on my list are indie, you know. But I would like to see Microsoft possibly shout out a bunch of stuff that we already know they have in the works, like Smite's in beta.
Yep, I'm on it.
I would like to hear about them doing maybe a date for full release Smite so everyone could play.
Shout out to High Res Studios, by the way. I got some good friends over there. They've been hooking us up with beta codes. There'll be details for that. I hope they keep the beta going a little longer so those codes will have value. But anyway.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I'd love to, see them really be like, we've been working so hard to get all this stuff, and let's get it out there. Let's show off kind of what we've been working towards.
Yeah, they just said a hard date. Because I hate when they just overnight just magically decide to go live. That's a bad way to do it. Like, you got to get a little hype going, get the hype train going.
And had it not been crushed, Silent Hill would have probably been my number 3. But Hideo Kojima got crushed. And we're not going to see the Norman Reedus Silent Hill, which makes me sad.
Though there's still those rumors about the machine that were propagated, some other people propagated about Silent Hills being purchased by Microsoft.
Yeah, but I mean, they had Hideo Kojima, like the brainchild behind Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And then the ball got dropped so hard. I guess.
I mean, that's a situation, a problem between him and Konami. Yeah. So if someone else picks up the property, I'm sure he would want to nurture his baby.
Maybe. Consolation, though, 4th spot for me. I want to hear about WWE 2K16.
Ooh, good call.
I want to hear about it.
Man, there's so much to talk about. I'm just realizing. I thought it was going to be a short segment. But there's a lot of stuff here. Talking about the Xbox, just the indie presence, I think Motiga might show up.
I think if they did, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so they get the gigantic hype going. I think we might see some presence from, oh gosh, I'm going to forget their name. Tiny Games?
Tiny Build?
Tiny Build, thank you. Speedrunners.
Yeah.
That game is still very much relevant.
Oh, dude. Also another really good indie title. Like I said, if they really feed into the indie side, man. There's so many good games that just, oh, so good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the indies. Like the big studios are really disappointing, making a lot of promises and not delivering. Even I mean, they always hype it up. That's part of how their approach to marketing. But it's like they're hyping up so much, and then they're like doing even a single thing they promise. It's worse. It's worse than it's ever been.
Except for Fallout 4, cha-ching, just saying.
Yeah, yeah. They can't. Okay, I don't want to jinx it, but
Look,
knock on wood, they can't mess that game up.
Everyone runs around screaming Skyrim at me. And, oh, man, Skyrim, greatest game ever. Oh, my God. You see all these, like, 4,000 mods I got for Skyrim. And I'm like, cool story, bro. We got Fallout 4 coming. I don't care.
I'm with you, man.
Fallout guy. I loved Elder Scrolls back in the day. I fell out
Me
after
too.
Morrowind.
I did a little bit of Oblivion, though.
I'm a Fallout fan now. Like my Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, I had them day one. I had collector's editions. Fallout 4 coming, dude. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to get it. I'm probably gonna get it on the PC this time around, honestly. But if they go, we're not doing a PC release, I would buy a console.
Dude, it better be Xbox One so we can play games together. That's all I'm saying.
I would buy a console just to play Fallout 4. That is how hardcore about Fallout I am.
All right, make this console only, folks. So
don't do it. If you do, #blame Yogi.
So I will take the blame for that if I can have my bro with me and play Xbox games.
Because that means I'll also get back into Call of Duty, make you pick that up, and then every time I shoot you, I'll be like, "That's for the Xbox."
It's worth it. I'd be like #worth it. So more, I have a big wish list.
I'll double tap the guide button and take a screenshot of you getting owned and tweet it to everybody.
Oh guys, I'm gonna have so much fun with that feature. Such a simple little thing. Like I use the crap out of that in Steam whenever I remember. Oh yeah, that's a feature. Boop. Oh yeah, it's so good. Finally catch you up, consoles. Good job. But my personal wish list is that and PlayStation needs to do this too. But since I'm an Xbox guy, I'm not talking about what Xbox One needs to do. They need to have the game streaming service, or better yet, 360 backwards compatibility. Bring back Xbox Live Arcade, and I mean, bring back games that they know they have no plans of re-releasing. The games that are purely arcade games and games that don't have physical versions, so there's no conflict of interest. Because I feel like Sony and Microsoft are both doing this horrible thing where they're not doing backwards compatibility, so they can re-release these games in HD remasters and maybe add a couple of other features, if new features, if we're lucky. Mm-hmm. But if they make it so that people that have been loyal to them can easily make the transition, it'll be so much more attractive. And Xbox Live Arcade was always great. Xbox Live Arcade actually gave me that feeling of being at the arcade. Like, just going in, playing small games, Pac-Man Championship Edition EX, or Geometry Wars, or Zuma. Shout out PopCap, what's up?
Peggle, dude, if you're going to shout out PopCap.
Peggle. Everybody's big on the Peggle and the Bejeweled, but Zuma was my jump off, bro.
Oh, dude, nah, I'm Peggle, Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played the Garden Warfare PvZ, and that's great, too.
I love that game.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, oh, gosh. That made me so happy. If one other person on our Geeky Ants network, one of our core team members, gets an Xbox One, I'd be like, best year ever. That's it. Especially if it's you, bro. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm more excited about that than the E3. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, it might become a thing since they lowered the price on the 500 gig.
Yeah, dude. And if I'm close, I'm like 70% used on that, 80% used. But unless you keep doing digital purchases, you're not gonna go through that 500 gigs. It's the people that are complaining about that are people that are they're digital only, and they gotta keep deleting stuff.
I'm the guy who maxed out my Xbox 360. So
yeah,
it might happen, especially since consoles work in a 7-year plan.
Well, now they're kind of pushing. They're going back to the old, like the they're trying to keep up with PC and longevity, and they're kind of pushing that 10-year mark. It looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know about this generation though. This might be hard, but I think they need to ride it out. I think they need to. That goes to Sony and Microsoft. But and I'll undo some of those mistakes that they made. But anyway, another thing I'm very hopeful that they do is get rid of the parity clause on Xbox One. Dumbest business decision ever. Saying, I get what Phil Spencer started to do. He says, "Oh, we want our gamers, our loyalists, so to speak, to feel like first-class citizens because they are." And so we want people who want to put a game on our platform. We want them to give us priority to our platform and then release it somewhere else. And I'm like, that doesn't make me feel like a first-class citizen. You know what makes me feel like a first-class citizen? You help with the quality control and say, hey, this game's not ready for launch. Don't release that crap until it's fully there. That makes us feel like first-class citizen. Or maybe subsidize DLC and say, hey, you make this a console exclusive, we'll make it so that, we'll pay X amount so you can make the DLCs free for our consumers. That'll make us feel like first-class citizens. Put your money where your mouth is,
Yeah.
But this exclusivity crap, like I hate, I think it was a dumb decision. I know Bungie and Microsoft has been going into a little slap fest, and they're kind of being petty because of all the things, all the politics between them, going back as far as like 2007. But I feel like Bungie slapped Microsoft and all their fans in the face by making all the Destiny exclusive content on their PlayStation. Really bad move. Not just weapons, but maps. There's strikes and raids apparently that are only available on PlayStation. I'm watching people stream on our stream team, and I'm like, I've never seen this before. Oh, it's PlayStation only. Lol. Nice.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I think we're past this exclusivity thing. Cause at the end of the day, people are gonna get the console where their friends are at. It's a preference of the controller. Maybe they just have a brand loyalty. The exclusive titles are not gonna sell. At least they're not gonna sell this guy. Hedge your bets. Make more.
It's true. I mean, I use Xbox when I play just from developing. I'm used to the controller. I even use an Xbox controller on my PC.
Me too. Yeah.
So like when I'm playing some of my older titles that were, to me, they translate to console. Because like first time I played Borderlands was on 360. Borderlands 1 and 2 on the 360. I wasn't a PC guy then. I got the pre-sequel for PC. And I was like, well, this is all right. And then I plugged in my Xbox controller. I was like, but this feels proper.
Yeah. And PC gaming purists will like shake their head at that. Like, sometimes you want the gamepad in there. It doesn't make it less relevant to be a PC gamer. Sometimes you just want the gamepad.
Yeah, I mean, to me, as long as it's not PvP, there's no problem in using a controller.
Oh yeah, that old thing about people with keyboard and mouse having an advantage. Has that ever really been proven by hard stats, by scientific research?
I'm not sure if it has been, but I'm pretty sure it could be proven.
I feel like that's something that PC master race elitists say, like the true elitists. They're like, oh lol, yeah, use your gamepad, console peasant. I'll have an advantage.
I don't know. I think there's times where it does and times where it doesn't. We'd have to see it.
It depends, because there's ways to offset the things. Like the only thing I can see is the analog being a little slower for quick reaction, but you can adjust the sensitivity. And if you get really good with the analog, you can be just as fast as reacting.
Possibly.
Mouse can sometimes work against you too. Like if you just suddenly burp or fart at the same time, maybe you might skip the mouse and then suddenly be shooting in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, BFT says when Shadowrun was released on 360 and PC with cross-platform, PC players wrecked the console players. Yeah, I remember that. But I think that might just be more because PC players have had a lot more time with FPS games.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm one of those people who still has the achievement for killing a player on PC off a console on the Xbox 360. As a matter of fact, I actually had the achievement.
I wonder if they still have the Shadowrun servers running. That was a fun game.
I believe they do actually, which is crazy for the amount of time it's been. I think that they do still have servers for it.
I might go back to that just for fun. And yeah, mouse and keyboard is more precise than gamepad, but I don't feel like it's that much more of an advantage. Depending on your playstyle.
Here's what I find funny because people, there's the elitists and then there's the elitists of the elitists. Because there's the people who are like, well, easily mouse and keyboard are better than a gamepad. And then there's a subsection of them who are like, well, what DPI is your mouse? Well, my mouse is this DPI.
Yeah.
That makes it better. And they're slowly just, the only thing they can actually agree on is mouse and keyboard is better than a controller. And they're like, that's it. After that, no. They don't agree on DPI or sensitivity settings or...
No, and then let's not get into the discussion, the debate of, you have an optical mouse. I have a laser mouse. Isn't it essentially the same thing? Just saying.
No, the DPI is different.
Yeah. This is funny. Like, all right, yeah, we're not gonna get into that. That goes down a dark place. That rabbit hole is deep.
I will make Reddit explode with comments.
No, PC has had FPSs much longer than the console. Much longer.
Yep. Quake.
Yeah, you kidding
Unreal
me?
Tournament.
The first FPS game goes back to the late 80s, perhaps. Ken's Labyrinth, Curse of Catacombs. You know, what's the earliest console FPS you could think of?
Earliest console?
The Doom port? GoldenEye, maybe? Wolfenstein, that's a port.
3D on Super Nintendo.
And that was a port.
Yeah, I think that's just because it just came out before Doom, which came out before Duke Nukem.
Yeah, but Curse of Catacombs and Ken's Labyrinth released on 5 1/4-inch discs, so you know it's old.
Yeah.
This is before Sega Genesis. We're talking about third generation, not even fourth or fifth generation. Maybe fourth generation of games. So Sega Genesis was fourth or fifth, so it was probably third or fourth. I lose track.
I remember Sega had the one with the smiley face. Like you went around as a smiley face.
Yeah, wow.
I think that was like Faceball or something. And
I think what BFT's talking about is first-person games, but not first-person shooter. There was a first-person game on NES, but that was the Shadowfall, I believe it's called. Those like Eye of the Beholder type games.
They were very adventure point-click oriented, more like because Maniac Mansion, which wasn't first-person but was very point-click.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, but PC definitely paved the way on FPS. It wasn't really until you could say I would agree with people that say that Halo really made FPSs on the consoles a big thing.
No way, GoldenEye.
GoldenEye has a lot of nostalgic value, but
GoldenEye, I remember getting all these kids after school. We'd all go hit someone's house and we would be playing GoldenEye. Because you didn't have internet options. You had to actually physically be sitting in the room. And everyone had the same rules. It was like, we're going to play GoldenEye. No one uses Odd Job. Odd Job's cheap.
Oh my God, yeah.
Everyone had that rule, but no one was ever like, don't play Jaws, you'll get annihilated. They'd wait for someone to pick Jaws and be like, watch what happens to the noob.
Oh, so good. But, so yeah, for more E3 discussion. Oh, by the way, PlayStation is releasing Nathan Drake Collection. There will be no multiplayer in the games, but they will give you access to the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta. Good old port station. JK. I had to get the last jab in there. But there'll be more E3 coverage on our favorite podcast, the B Team Podcast, Gaming Death, Gamer Tag Radio, which is actually teaming up with TBS, I believe, to cover the event. The Worst Radio Show, 42 Level 1, and much more. And of course, we here at Time Tea Time and at Horseplay Live, flagship shows on the Geeky Answer Network, should probably cover more of our favorite reveals and rants as well. So we shall see. But what else is there coming? What else is there coming out? I say "but" a lot. I noticed that. That's my I will say, as we wrap up the E3 discussion, I feel that both the Xbox One and PS4 lack compelling exclusives unless it comes down to your personal preference, your brand loyalties, where your friends are at, and also the overall experience you want. I still feel like PlayStation is more geared towards story-driven, single-player experiences, and Xbox One still feels like more of a multiplayer experience to me.
I don't know, because they've really changed a lot of that over. Like, one of the exclusives that PlayStation is getting, and it pains me to say it, is Street Fighter. They've announced Street Fighter 5 is going to be a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
And that's a very much competitive multiplayer game.
And I'm kind of hurt that Capcom is giving all their fighters, and that includes Marvel vs. Capcom. That's the only game I really care about, because I hate the way Capcom handled the 360 launches, just overall. Like, third week in, it felt like, new version of the game, you gotta buy Ultimate Edition. Now we have a month after that. Super Ultra Mega Limited.
Super Double Spiffy Ultra Mega Limited Edition, now with new character pixel.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they went exclusive with that, because now I can't even get tempted. Because I'd be the dummy to be like, maybe they'll get it right this time. Maybe they'll actually care about their fans this time.
Because they're gonna go Street Fighter 5, and then a few months later we'll see Street Fighter 5 Ultra or Turbo, and then Ultra, and then they'll just do it because they've done that since the beginning of Street Fighter. Then eventually we'll get Tournament Edition and stuff that.
They, excuse me. They attracted so much value from those games in favors. It's like what used to be a 30-person roster or 50-person roster became 8 people. Want more? Buy DLC. Yeah. So
get the expansion packs. You can't earn skin? Well, guess what? We're going to release a downloadable pack with all these 400 skins for one character.
Now, BFT makes a good point in the chat. PlayStation gave Capcom the money to develop Street Fighter V this early. Without that funding, Street Fighter V was at least 8 years out because Capcom somehow is darn near bankrupt right now. I don't get how Konami and Capcom can be darn near bankrupt.
Okay, I can tell you right now.
But
Konami's in trouble because they're not counting on Hideo Kojima the way they need to. Capcom hasn't put out a new Mega Man in God knows how long. That's where they messed up.
They're sitting.
Point it for you.
They're sitting on so many great franchises, not just whatever happened to freaking Power Stone. That's still viable today. I know a ton of people that will buy the crap out of Power Stone,
but they're not using it. They have all these rights and all these licenses that they just let fall by the wayside because guess what? It's not Street Fighter. And Konami is like, we have Ninja Turtles. Well, you have a lot of good stuff. You have Castlevania. You have,
Metal Gear.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. What? I don't get it. I hope at this point they at least sell off these franchises to people that will give them the love that they need.
Yeah. See, we need to talk about something happier.
So let's move on to the gaming verse. Yeah, let's move on to the game verse, and we're gonna talk about what we've been playing and some Heroes of the Storm hype as per usual.
Yeah.
But before we get into those rants, let me make sure I cover the main things today. So as we mentioned, our Geeky Antics, our gang community gaming, our gang nights playlist, and that's where we get together with our community and to play different games together. We try to pick games that have high player counts so everybody can get involved and not feel left out. But right now the playlist includes Guns of Icarus, Tabletop Simulator, Pretend You're Zizzy, which is a free online web-based Cards Against Humanity clone. Heroes of the Storm, of course, and Destiny on Xbox One. Though if you want to play on PS4, we have BFT, we have Beard and Hat, The Worst Radio Show. They're all on PlayStation 4. So, yeah, we can't play together, but it's sad. But you're covered. Someone could join you. You could join someone. We always have someone streaming on the team or doing game nights. So, there you go. BFT saying some more stuff here in the chat. Street Fighter 5 will not be on Xbox and any Xbox One in any iteration. Earliest Xbox One will get is Street Fighter 6. Thank God. I want to skip it for now. I'm still bitter about what they did with Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I even lost. I don't know where my copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is at, and I refuse to even rebuy it just because of how they handled that. They got too greedy.
Yep. I've got MVC for the 360, and it's sitting in my living room with my Xbox in my room.
I love that game so much, but the way they handled it, it's a slap in the face. Yeah, and Capcom, that's another thing. They keep rehashing old games. They just announced Resident Evil 0 HD Remaster. I like Resident Evil 0. I know a lot of people poop in that game, but I like that game. That was a great GameCube game.
Yeah, but in before Nemesis remake. Just saying.
That would, yeah. That's the one that people are going to be waiting for. Nemesis constantly chasing you. That was a great idea. How he just keeps popping out, and you're like, I can't really fight you, so I'm going to just run around and avoid you.
Just saying, no one had ever heard of that. Pyramid Head. But anyways, where were we?
Woo! Yes.
Head. Heroes of the Storm.
So yeah, I know a lot of our group, we haven't been playing as much lately. Everybody's been kind of working on other stuff. Shout out to Mergulicious, by the way. Though I don't think he listens to podcasts. I can tell who doesn't listen to podcasts because when I'm not around on TeamSpeak, people are like, "Are you okay?" It's like, you know that if you listen to the podcast, you know what you know what I'm up to. I kind of take it personally. I have to admit, it's like you don't have time to listen to 5-10 minutes of a podcast while you're on the can. Everybody has that time. What are you doing during that time that you can't do it? Pop the podcast in. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. We're all over the place. Easy to find us.
Come at us, bro.
Yeah, but a lot of stuff on Heroes of the Storm. You want to talk about some of the stuff that's coming there?
Yes, the Battlefield of Eternity.
The new map, the new battleground, rather.
Yes, it is. It's like they are doing a sub-expansion from the way they explained it. The first map we're seeing out of this is a split heaven and hell style map.
Ooh.
2 lanes. It is a new 2-lane map. So this is going to be huge. They have a light and a dark guardian fighting in the middle. That is kind of like the boss monster. They've also put in custom mobs that will also be kind of showing up out of the Diablo world. So this whole expansion is very Diablo-centric.
Finally.
Right. I've been screaming for Diablo characters and more Diablo content, and then we saw Johanna, who is so good, just OP for days.
Oh gosh, I love her setups, rounding up everybody for the wombo combos.
All the wombos.
We need it now. We have all this. But what about a Diablo support? Is that a thing yet? Have you heard anything yet?
It's not yet, but they have announced the next Diablo hero we're going to see, and it's actually an assassin. I was really surprised. The Butcher.
That we were talking about that was gonna be it. And people were like, no, it's not gonna happen because they have Pudge.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Stitches.
The Butcher would be a tank like I did, but no, it turns out they're releasing the Butcher as an assassin. A melee assassin, kind of like your Illidan or your Zeratul. He gets some pretty cool moves. He's got a charge move that has the range of Nova's triple tap. So he activates it, and he can just run like super fast over there and really get into fights.
Well, that was his thing. Remember how scary it would be? He just rush at you. You're like, holy crap, you were never ready for it.
And I think his alt, at least the alt they've shown off, they haven't showed off Blast Furnace, but they showed off Lamb to the Slaughter. And it's amazing. It sets a post and chains a hero to it. Well, when you upgrade it at level 20, you can chain up to 3 heroes on it, effectively removing them from the battle if you can do it right.
Oh my.
So if you can, like, I've already been working in my head about combos, things as like, because it even locks down like an Illidan. So Illidan can't alt out of it with that, like, all the way across the map stun he has. The chain will pull him back to the stake and his alt will be wasted.
Wow. I
It's
love it.
huge.
They're getting really interesting with the mechanics. That's what they've done such a good job making each hero feel viable and distinguished from each other. There's some similarities, but they still feel nice and fresh. That's cool.
I'm interested because I really want to see what happens when, like, he locks down the front line and then everyone just kind of walks around the Lamb to the Slaughter circle and goes after the back line as they run away,
Oh
effectively
my.
splitting the team.
Whoo, divide and conquer.
It's huge. The potential is just so massive, and I mean, he gets these little drops, fresh meat. So every
Oh,
time a minion drops, it drops 1 stack of fresh meat. Every time a champion drops, it drops 3 stacks to a maximum of 25 stacks. He's got better lifesteal than Illidan.
oh man. So he is kind of tanked. He's got some sustain.
He's got sustain through a lot of lifesteal, and it's going to be huge. Like, I'm really interested to see how they're doing it. The new map actually comes out, I believe they said the end of this month is when the map will come out. I don't know if that's also when the Butcher comes out. One can hope. But I'm really excited. Like, the only 2 lane map we really have right now is Haunted Mines,
Yep.
and it's super fun, but it's got that, like, subsection. In this one, it's 2 lanes, no subsection, so the fighting will be happening at any given time. Someone can go from bottom lane to top lane, or possibly even sneak guardians out of the middle. There's even a very cool, like, Dragon Ball Z style anime cutscene when you get guardians to half. When a guardian drops to half, they do this, like, clash in the middle with this really cool cutscene and change their positions.
Wow.
Yeah, and then at full health, there's a slaying animation. The guardian gets full health, pumps up, gets a huge shield, and charges at the lane that is already progressed the furthest. So it prioritizes the heavier pushed lane for your side.
So this map is gonna bring it back to the basics, pushing your lanes and working together as a team and coordinating, calling out and rotating and that's good.
Yeah, it's gonna. It looks just amazing, and this whole sub Diablo theme, I think we very well could see a Diablo support before it's all said and done. And then I'm also interested to see what the next world they'll go into is.
Yeah, we need more supports because I feel like it's a lot of focus on DPS overall. So we need to get away from the assassins. I feel like every other release is an assassin, and they're fun. I get it. Everybody leans towards assassins because it's great being able to kill people, in a game. In a game, not for real.
Yeah.
But
You know what I would love to see, though, with the way they're doing this? Like, there's the Diablo one right now, and I'm sure there's going to be a World of Warcraft one where we get more Warcraft heroes. I would love to see Blizzard, and I'm hoping that they hear this somehow, because back when I said we need more Diablo people, now we've got a whole Diablo expansion coming. Hopefully that universe works for me again. I would love to see Blizzard do something like the Island of Misfit Games, where we see more characters like Lost Vikings and other properties that aren't attached to anything major.
like a little surreal kind of trippy place, like almost an Alice in Wonderland type thing, where all the Oh my god, I can see
Yeah.
that, like, all the, like, forgotten properties and characters just
Right,
roam
and
about.
they can even pull those characters in. So now we have the characters. We'll get the map, and they'll work an expansion kind of like that, or possibly to get hype built for Overwatch. Maybe they do an early kind of Overwatch sneak peek, and they're like, "Oh, this is the Overwatch block where we'll be doing a level dedicated to Overwatch, and you'll get some heroes from Overwatch before Overwatch actually comes out."
Oh, BFT took the words right out of my mouth. Blackthorn. Yes.
Exactly.
I'm
Like
with that. I'm
they
with that.
have those properties. I think it could be phenomenal if they do it.
He says rock and roll racing too.
That was a fun game.
Pretty much all the, by the way, all the classic Blizzard games now I think are free to download right off of battle.net. You can download those games. I know Blackthorn and Lost Vikings for sure are free. So download those, folks. Yeah, I've been big on the Blizzard stuff. I always will be. I'm a big Blizzard fanboy still to this day. I've been getting more into Hearthstone. Still a fantastic game. I'm enjoying the GVG card packs more now. I've been getting good drops out of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of still aiming for rank 10 and ranked, but I'm still experimenting a lot in the ranked because I figure, well, why bother playing in casual? Because there's people, a lot of tryhards go into casual, so you can't even test there anymore. So I just go straight into ranked to just keep testing my new decks there. Paladin, Priest, and Druid seem to be the most effective for me still. Paladin is one that's moved up because of the dragon decks. I know you've been out of the meta for a while, but it's worth checking out, man. They have some fun stuff there, and supposedly there's some huge updates coming to Hearthstone as well. So more E3 hype. Mage is finally viable and constructed. There's a lot of fun things you can do with Mage, and Rogue has some new things too that I'm seeing. I'm seeing more and more diversity in the deck builds. So. But still, it feels like most people just run swarm decks with some control, like hard removal, and they just overwhelm you. They overwhelm the board, like really aggro. It's really annoying because like once you get like 3 or 4 minions on the board, it's hard for you to get anything out unless you have a face deck and you just go straight for the face and hope that you could kill them before they kill you.
Yeah.
But it's worth getting into the Hearthstone, folks. If you haven't gotten into it yet, it's free to play. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's deck building game. I'm not really into those kind of games." But this might be the one. I know people that don't play other TCGs or CCGs and they love Hearthstone. And there's people that play other ones and they like Hearthstone too, or they love it. So, worth looking into. But I'm gonna talk a little about Destiny before we wrap it up, because I have to. This is as close to an MMO as I will get. I think I'm gonna skip Elder Scrolls Online. Because paying for a game and then paying for a subscription. Supposedly, if you pre-ordered it or you got the limited edition, you won't pay for the subscription.
Actually, ESO went off of monthly pay schedule, didn't they?
I think it's only if you got their Ultra edition or something.
No, I think now you just pay for the game and it has no monthly model, but still it's a Warcraft clone.
Yeah, see, that's not so bad, but money on both ends is whack. I know, 'cause I remember they were supposed to go free to play, but still, like paying full price for that game for an MMO, I don't know. I guess paying for it once is not so bad. I feel like they should have just made it a reduced purchase and then subsidize it through like microtransactions for the more dedicated gamers, for like cosmetic stuff, like everyone else does for free to play stuff. That would have been a nice compromise. But with Neverwinter, Warframe, Destiny, all those, and 2 of those games are free to play. I don't feel like Elder Scrolls Online is worth getting into now. 'Cause Neverwinter is great. Warframe is tons of fun. It depends on what you want. They're calling Warframe the Destiny killer now that it's on consoles, by the way. Yeah. That game looks beautiful on the consoles. It keeps up with the PC version quite a bit, I have to say. It runs super smooth. And the parkour and the melee in that game, the combos you could do in it. You know what kind of reminds me of a little bit? Phantasy Star Online. Did you ever get into that?
Oh man, yeah.
Remember how they had a nice little combo system in that?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, for some reason, reminds me a little bit of that. Oh my gosh. BFT said, just watch a wasp give another wasp food. Even nature's buttholes from hell have a heart to lure you into a false sense of safety. Oh wow, BFT says Elder Scrolls Online is not Elder Scrolls, it's an abomination of the name.
That is true. So I just saw something because you mentioned Destiny, and of course I zoned out and started looking up other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new hero in Hearthstone, or one will be coming.
Yes! Yes, I almost forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Oh.
And I hope what they're doing too, they're gonna add, that's one of the major updates coming, they're gonna add a alternate character for each class as well. And I hope with all these changes they're gonna add additional deck slots. Cause I hate the fact that you can only have one deck for each class, or just decide there's certain classes I won't ever play. It's silly.
Honestly, if this keeps going, I very well may get back into Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Because it's reminding me now of the old World of Warcraft TCG.
Yes.
And I used to play that a lot. Like, I actually had a ton of decks for that.
Dude, right now they have so many core mechanics that you could play up. Like with the dragons, they finally got synergy with dragons. I have a dragon deck where if I get my 5-drop 5/5 dragon out, my next dragon costs 2 less. And if I'm sitting out, if I have like 3 or 4 9-drop or 10-drops dragons in my deck, suddenly I can get them out much sooner. And if I save my coin, my mana coin, till later in the game, I can get it out even sooner. So suddenly I have this huge creature out that they can't mind control, and I'm more than likely by that point already causing them to burn all their hard removal, so they gotta just let it sit there or try to spam all their freaking like damage on it. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there, man. BFT says Warframe, the Destiny killer. Warframe came out well before Destiny. Yes, it did. But now that it's on console, it's like, again, console gamers are kind of oblivious to PC scene. Not you, but a lot of console gamers I've run into is like they put blinders on. It's like, oh man, did you see that new game Warframe? I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it 5 years ago.
Oh, by the way, I feel bad. I forgot to mention one other thing about Heroes of the Storm.
Okay, what's that?
For those that had beta access and still have access to the PTR server, like the pre-release server, basically, you can actually play the new map on the 23rd.
Oh man,
I forgot to mention that, but it is definitely worth mentioning. I don't know how I almost overlooked that.
Yeah, Blizzard's just making some big moves, man. They're one of the few big studios that I'm still super happy and excited about. Bethesda's the other one.
Yeah.
Can we call PopCap big because they're part of EA? I mean, I love Pop. I'm partial to PopCap just because I have friends that founded that company and work over there.
PopCap has tons of properties themselves, like Plants vs. Zombies and Peggle, and yeah, I mean, I can definitely say they're in the larger groups as well.
Yeah, but they still have that indie vibe to me.
Yeah, but that's the best part about it. Yeah, they're a bigger company, but they're still keeping it humble.
Same thing with Blizzard. I mean, they're owned by Activision, but Blizzard always feels like they have a finger on the vein of the gaming community, like they're listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As the guy who just got the Diablo expansion he's been begging for, I entirely understand.
Speaking of which, a bunch of our friends on the Geeky Antics network, the gang is back on Diablo 3, and I'm like, I might have to finally get this game on the PC. Though I'm so split because I have a bunch of people that play on the Xbox One, and they say that they played the PC version, but the Xbox One version, definitive version to get. I'm like, really? That's a very bold statement. But the console version doesn't have seasons, I don't think, and I kind of like the concept of seasons. It gives you a reason to keep coming back. I love that in Warcraft 3 having the seasons and ladders and all that stuff. I like that in StarCraft as well. So we'll see. But Lord Rakdos is one of those people that got Diablo 3. So I'm like, darn you guys. The game he plays already so full. So anyway, moving on from Blizzard. Destiny. Back to Destiny. I talked in ad nauseum. is the phrase. I don't know, who knows. I talked a lot about I ranted a lot about my concerns with Destiny. They definitely don't live up to their promises and the hype. But it is a great game with friends. You could definitely lose track of time. I will still stick to my guns and say that if you don't love PvP, you're missing a major portion of this game. They need to cater more to the PvE. The PvE is severely lacking. The raids, the few raids you have in there are great, but you shouldn't have to need a third-party site to find people. And I finally experienced what that feels like, having squeakers come in. Like, so what do I do? Do I just shoot the guy? Like, wait, why are you in the LFG website and you're joining a raid that's in the last boss fight? And you haven't played the boss. You haven't played this raid at all. We had a bunch of people do that. Like, at least do some research. Like, Google search it. Like, how do you fight this boss? Oh, it's great. Good at the raid I was doing last night. Vault of Glass. By the way, I'm only week 3 into Destiny, and because I've been keeping up with the streamers and reading up on it, it feels like I've been playing since day 1. But I never did Vault of Glass. I went straight to Crota. Right? Vault of Glass, the final boss is this guy that can eat time. He could do this thing. Now, raids have a max of 6 players, and you really need a full party to get these raids done, ideally. Though we did Crota's End with 4 people, but it was really hard. But the boss, Atheon, in the Vault of Glass raid, he does this thing where he teleports 3 random people from your raid party into either Mars or Venus, and you got to be well coordinated and communicate and say, hey, we're in Mars, hey, we're in Venus. The home team is still in fighting the boss, has to open up a portal for you, while you take out, one person grabs a relic and uses that at the proper time to cleanse you, so you're not going blind, because there's a blinding effect going on in your party, so you can't see what's attacking you. Someone's got to clear the mobs that are there, and then someone else has to focus on these oracles that are coming in and slowly ticking down till they explode. And if you don't kill them in the proper order, they explode, and everybody, the whole party dies, and you're stuck in time forever. Some timey-wimey stuff going on in this raid, by the way. Yeah, it's pretty intense, dude. I recommend it. Check it out. The Vault of Glass. The mechanics they have in there is so interesting. I want to run that raid again. It was just so fascinating to me. I had no clue what I was doing, but I quickly picked it up. And again, fortunately, watching people and doing some homework, I wasn't completely clueless, but it was still kind of like, all right, what are these orb things? They look menacing. They're making sounds. What does it mean? Our team wiped like 20 times at first before we finally started getting momentum. And I think, oh my gosh, they're going to get so mad at me. I'm not going to tell them this is my first time because I'm going to get screamed at so hard. Even though it's friends, I think, I'm just going to stay quiet. And we won. But it was cool, man. BFT says the reason they don't have matchmaking for raids because they want people to run raids with a group they know. So many mechanics, you need everyone on point to get a job done. But people are still going to LFG websites with randoms that still don't know what they're doing. So they don't have to do matchmaking, but what about if they made it easy to LFG in-game? Like, make the social areas more inclusive, have LFG chat. Warframe does this. You know, then you get coordinated groups. Like, they're lacking the social aspect, so it's hard for you. They're basically assuming that you're always gonna have 5 friends available when you're doing a raid to join you that are at the level to do it. And I don't know. I personally refuse to use these third-party websites because a lot of these people are on there are elitist jerks. They're like, oh, you don't have the proper gear. Why are you using that gun? That gun stinks. It's like, oh, stop it. I'm doing just fine with this.
It reminds me of back in World of Warcraft where you could actually see someone's gear score, and you'd get these people who are like, oh, you only have a 400 gear score. You're not gonna do anything in this raid.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. In here, they have PvP and PvE gear, but it's not formally set as that, and they're both viable. They're all viable in different modes, but you can get a feel for this is better for PvE or this is better for PvP. But you don't have the hard stat boom. There is a defense stat that people can look at, and they can look at the max damage that you do with your weapons and all that stuff. But yeah, they can inspect your character and look at your gear loadout. It feels a little intrusive, but I understand why that's there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with the good, the bad comes too. Like that sets mixed way for elitism and snobbery and all that stuff. No bueno.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny. As much as they try to say that this is a shared world shooter, not an MMO, the MMO mechanics are there. It's an MMO. It's just the scope of it is massive in some areas and not others. So they need to have more social common areas and make it more. And I feel bad for these websites that facilitate that, because I know that's where they get the traffic and they get lots of money from the traffic and the impressions on ads and all that stuff. You know, so maybe they don't want to screw those people over. But I just don't feel. Or heck, I don't know. Make it so that you integrate the websites that already have this functionality built in. I know you can on Xbox One you can snap the web browser, or you can just pull up your tablet or your smartphone and LFG. But I just feel like that extra step is not a good user experience. It's gonna make it very exclusive, and you have to make these things more inclusive.
Yeah.
Because the raids to me are the best part of the game. And then the PvP, they still feel like they focus so much on that because they make it so much easier and accessible. And the best gear also drops from PvP. So it's kind of like, well, you don't have to PvP. You're not forced to do it, but you kind of are. That's my main gripe with it. But there's a lot of other things I can say about it. We'll come back to it. We'll table that. Like, we do have to wrap it up. We said it was going to be a shorter show, but so much for that.
Yeah, right.
You have any closing thoughts, bro?
Fallout 4 is it's the second biggest thing I'm hype about, actually. Dark Journey Series 2. After I heard the trailer, that is my top hype right now.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good...
So I'm going to say, in order of things I am hype about, number 1, Dark Journey Series 2. Number 2, Fallout 4. Number 3, E3, and hearing B-Team Podcast kind of go ham on that Worst Radio Show. A lot of our buddies kind of doing that. I think that's going to be hype. Mm-hmm. And then number 4, as per usual, ShinyPrints.com and Teespring. I'm pretty hype about those, actually.
Yeah, and again, if you know people that do photography or are artists, especially wedding photographers, because their customers are willing to spend more money. And it's actually going to save them money in the long run, because buying frames, again, super expensive. Refer those people to us, because these metal prints look amazing. When you see it, it's just your mind is blown. It's just the shine on them, the color matching, they pop out, and they're durable. I mean, all right, I'm not going to go on a rant. But I am partial to them, not just because they're sponsored. It's a great product, and I've used it myself. I need to get some game-related prints done, like some collages or something, and then show them off on stream. That's what I need to do in the future. That's coming up. But don't forget, folks, Time Warmer Tea Time can be enjoyed wherever fantastic, beautiful podcasts can be found, including but not limited to Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Zune, Marketplace, or Xbox Marketplace, whatever they're calling themselves these days, and Spreaker. You can also find us on twitch.tv/Geeky Antics. Allgames.com. Check us out there. And, of course, our main website, geekyantics.net. Make sure you visit us and say hello and introduce yourself and let us know what you're up to and be part of the fun. Whether you become a podcast host, maybe you want to contribute some articles. There are lots of ways we can collaborate and help promote each other and help each other grow. That's pretty much it. This has been Time Warmer Tea Time. We hope you enjoyed the tea time discussions. Trying to wrap it up so we're on time. Allgames.com, thank you so much for having us. And we're out of here. See you in 2 weeks. Peace.
We thank you. We thank you for every crumb, biscuit and cake you bring to the table. Because Doctor Who belongs to all of us. What you bring to the timey-wimey tea time in your live chat participation, comments, likes, shares, tweets and voicemail, all of it means the world to us. Love, true love never fails. Do you like it? If you like what we're doing, well, Tell us, for God's sake. Shout it from the rooftops at geekyantics.net. Or call it in, 206-415-4987. That's 206-415-4987. That's it. Bless you. So long. And thanks for all the fish. But on, it won't be that long. Just a wee while. Because the timey-wimey tea time will be back. We'll return next Saturday with fresh insights, questions and epiphanies about Doctor Who. And heck yes, everything geek. Maybe same bat time. Absolutely the same bat channel. Every Saturday.
Tiny, whiny tea time.